Hello again, Patricia.
Hello, Gabriel.
I'm glad to be with you discussing or for this interview about money. Um, maybe I want to start with a bit that, as I understood, you come from economic background, and also I heard some little things about your shift from having a regular job or having a corporate or whatever name you would put on it to a space holder for Arkiaki and what you're actually doing, delivering labs or holding space for many events. And do you have can you share with us some stepping stones about that? Or I know it's like not like on off or black and white, but what was a bit about your journey there?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for asking, and I like to tell you a little bit about that, about my path to where I'm arrived, and the journey started in the normal modern culture, and I went to school, and then I asked myself what studies should I take on, and I wasn't clear about that. As a lot of people after school, they don't know what to do. And then I studied economics, because I thought then I have a lot of possibilities afterwards when I start business administration, what it was called, and it had a specialty in tourism. So, and I thought, oh, tourism is good. So I get to know different countries, and with the business administration, I have a lot of choices afterwards. And I have to say that within me, very early, there was this wish or this longing to put myself into the service of something bigger. So to find my vocation, and to this was a very deep driving force in me. So after my studies, when I finished my studies, I had my first job as a tour operator. And it was the job I wanted. I thought that was the job I wanted. It was a study tour operator. So the tourism or the tours were not just holiday tours, but something you can learn something. So this was, I thought, my dream job. So I started there as a product manager, and I learned very quickly that in the working world of our modern culture, it's not about putting yourself into the service of something bigger. It's not about vocation. It's not about passion. It's about surviving, and about power games, and about being part of the system. So I was deluded, or no, not deluded. I was disappointed very, very fast. And it was, I couldn't stand it for more than 1 year. And every Sunday I cried, because on Monday I had to go to prison again. This was how it felt for me. And this pain was so big that after 1 year, I quit without knowing what to do. But the fear that this will go on for the next 40 years was so big that it was bigger than the fear of not having money or not surviving.
Yeah.
So this was the first decision that I made, because of this experience that I made in the normal working world. And after that, I knew I don't want to have a continuous job as an employee in a company. So I think this was the first step, to use my pain and my fear, even if back then I didn't know anything about feelings. I didn't know possibility management, but I used my feelings to quit and to take a stand for, at least for what I don't I don't want. Yeah. And then I started a journey, a learning journey. I learned different things that interested me. I did an education as a health practitioner. I did a training as an astrologer. I did a training for myself. It was called the Creative Year. It was a 1-year training, so for myself, for my self-development. And I worked as a freelancer for different companies to make the money for this education, for these trainings, and for my living, having in mind that it is just as a means to an end, to then at a certain point to find my vocation, and then to shift into this, bringing my vocation into the world.
Yeah. Did you had a time span in mind, or you said to yourself, I will do that for 1 year and then?
Not consciously. There was, the trainings, they had a certain span of time, like the health practitioner, it was 2.5 years, and the astrologer thing was 1.5 years, and so on. So it didn't went too much in the future. I just concentrated on the education, and then I proceeded.
Did you find it easy to shift from having a corporate job, which I assume was as an employee,
Yes,
to entrepreneurship?
Interestingly, it was not so hard, because it was just 1 year that I have been in this job as an employee. So I didn't. I wasn't so much used to have a regular income and so on. So this was an advantage. When I look back, I would say this was an advantage, because when you are 10 years or 20 years in a regular job, then for a lot of people it's harder to really make the decision to get out of that and to stop having regular income. And for me, it was 1 year. And beforehand, during my studies, I already had jobs to finance myself and to earn my living. So I knew that I'm able to produce money even without a regular job.
Yeah.
So in that like that, it was not so hard to do that, to really quit.
As if your box of employee was not so strong and you could easily shift from another perspective.
Yes. Yeah. And still, yeah, there were a lot of old patterns and old stories within me about money. And so after all these education and trainings, I started as a health practitioner, and I found out that it's also not, this is also not my real job, because people were coming to me and they wanted something from me so that they feel better. So they gave their authority or their responsibility to me. Give me something, give me a medicine or something so that I feel better. And I found out that I want to work with people who are ready and willing to do something for themselves. And when I told them you have to do this or that, you have to change your nourishment, or you have to change you need to move more or something, then they didn't come again. So I was at a point where I said, so this is also not my job. So I was really angry at the universe, and I said, so I want to find the thing that I love to do, that is in alignment with my passions, with my talents, where I'm not overwhelmed or underwhelmed. I don't know if this word exists, and which is paying my invoices and my rent. So, and then the next step was becoming a trainer.
Yes.
And also a coach for vocation. And I remember the first coaching sessions in the topic of vocation I gave. Afterwards, the clients came to me and said, Patricia, are you aware that you are charging too little for what you give? And this was the moment where I started to think about money the first time in a conscious way. That money is not just something, outside of me, but it has to do with myself, with my beliefs, with the value I put to my services, for example, and so on. And there were a lot of old stories keeping me from charging, for example, the right amount, so that the clients came to me and said, this is too little, this is too little.
Yeah. And can you sense what were those stories at that time? And also what I really feel and sense when you're saying that, it's like there is an adequation between your being, what it shines through the world, and the right value, meaning the exact amount of what you are paid for.
Yes, when I think back to that time, and there was this feeling of guilt to charge money.
Yeah.
There was always a feeling of guilt, even if I charged an amount that for them was too small. For me, it was so, and it was connected to when I charge them, then I need to perform, then I need to be perfect, then I need to be this, what I'm, it doesn't, there are no mistakes allowed. So this was an old pattern from my childhood.
Yeah.
An unconscious old pattern from my child. I'm not allowed to make mistakes. And when I get paid, then they have the right to get a perfect service. And I had also another old pattern, another old belief was that I'm not good enough. So I think when you have this pattern in mind, you're not good enough, then any amount you charge, it's never the right amount, because you are not good enough. So there will never be this balance of what you give and what you receive, because you are never good enough.
Yeah.
So these were all patterns from so like child emotions. When we are in the context of possibility management, we would say child emotions, from the past. And there were also parent emotions, because in the family I grew up, we were 3 children, and my father was was a worker, and they really worked hard to make a living for the whole family. And this was the story about money that was transferred to me or adopted from me in my family. It's hard to earn money, and you need to work hard, and we don't know if it is enough until the end of the month. So this was the story about money and the energy I grew up as a child, and this was also working within me.
Yeah, it's
So
constant.
you have to work hard for money,
Yeah.
and it's never enough at the end of the month.
Yeah, as if there was this constant pressure associated with the money. Like money is pressure, or money.
Yeah, it's survival. Yeah, you need money to survive. So this was the equation that I learned from toddler, from baby on. Yeah, so money is survival. You need money to survive, and it needed a little bit of work with myself to get out of this story and of this equation also. You need money to survive.
Yes.
And what helped me personally was the work with the vocation, with purpose and vocation. Because and also to have a closer look at the system, at the how do you say it? The modern world system, how it works. So the modern world system is a system of survival and a system of child responsibility. So there is this, how do you say, there's this question, or do you work for to live, or do you live to work? So and most of the people said, I'm working to live. And but when you say you're working to live, then you separate working and living, and you say working is necessary. The money that you earn from working is necessary. It's a prerequisite for living. And then you are trapped in this modern culture working world, where it is about survival. It's about making a living. It's about the rent. It's about the security. And then you have insurances. You need to pay insurances. You have to work for, so that you feel safe, and really to make the experience that it is possible to get out of this system and to live your vocation. And one part of living your vocation is that you get money for that, but you don't live your vocation to get money. This is a completely different game.
Yeah, I had the image coming to me, like all those pills, all those layers of cultural, modern culture, like sticking to the different parts of the being, and also had the picture of burning them to really like go out. And there's this this idea of escaping from modern culture to move forward towards archaearchy. And is there a distinction for you about money and archaearchy? How do you relate now with money? How, like, yeah, what is the energy that you sense? Or
for me, money now is energy. And I have a different story about money and about energy within me. And I how do I say? For example, a lot of people think when they have a regular job, they are safe and secure, but you can lose your job. But when you think about your talents, what you can bring into the world, the service, that you cannot lose that. This is something that cannot be taken away from you, your talents. So, and talents, you can always make your talents available and charge money for it. So it's just a different currency. Talent was in former times was the name of a currency.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know. In the antique times, talents was the currency. So the real safety, there is no safety, yeah, but your talents is the value. And when I got aware that nobody can take away my talents from me, and I can always make my talents available, then there is no lack of money anymore, and there is no what's the opposite of abundance?
Scarcity.
Scarcity. There is no scarcity, because you have a lot of talents, I have a lot of talents, everybody has a lot of talent, and we can put them in the service. We can exchange them. We can exchange them also for money. So this is the one new story that I have in mind in regard to money. And there's another, how do I say, another way of handling money that I tried out a lot of times, and it worked. I always invest. I always go first. Like I'm doing a training and paying for it, for example. And every investment that I do, be it in time or in money, I have an account at the universe. In the universe, I have an account, and I put the amount that I invest to this account in the universe, and like this, I create the necessity that the account will be balanced. And I tried this a lot of times, and it worked. So I'm going first. I advance my service or money, and then I get a return on investment. So this is from the business administration studies, what I have learned. So as an entrepreneur, you invest something and then you get a return on investment, and this is what I'm doing. And it really because energy, in a system, energy will not be lost. There is this law in physics that energy is something that cannot be lost, and if there is an amount of energy, then there's a physical law that it will be balanced. So also doing experiments with that. Apart from this, I have to work every month, every day for a certain amount. Doing experiments and seeing there are other laws in other contexts. We can create something different happening than there. I hope I don't talk too much.
No, I had a lot of joy hearing your account in the universe, and the thing that landed in me, it's also something about nurturing, or it's more an intuition, like nurturing our beings so that they become magnets, like magnets of value, like just as something natural. more than I have to make an effort to get there and to get paid and to just to feel safe. And what you were also saying about the safety is also what some call being home.
Yeah.
Like just standing on our ground and being there with.
Yes, and yeah, and it needs a little bit of work to get out of this Prägung, cultural conditioning.
Yes.
Yeah, so really to get aware of your of old stories about your value, not being good enough, for example, or also stories about money. I work with people so that they can start to live their vocation, and a lot of times we end up in a emotional healing process about money. To really find out the old stories. And there are so many old stories also in regard to money, that money is something bad or something dirty, or that they find out that they have that they hate people with money in the modern world, because it means that they did bad things to really become rich. So they
dirty money.
Yeah, dirty money. They don't want to become like them, so they they don't let the flow of money come to them, for example. So there are a lot of stories, or own stories, or stories from parents, authorities, groups they belong to, that have their influence on their lives.
And I also had the word contamination.
Yeah,
like
contamination.
Get contaminated by this pandemic of capitalism through money, which is totally different. Like I see really money as a mean, as a way of exchanging, and capitalism, neoliberalism or whatever, is the cultural construct.
Yeah.
And
it's not the tool that defines the context, but the context that defines in the purpose the tool is handled, or the tool is used. So money is money. Money is an energy.
yeah,
It
from
has
which
no meaning.
yeah, it's almost unknown or nothing.
Yeah, it's paper with a number on it. So
Yeah, thank you. There's a lot of distinction and a lot of maybe did you make some experiments that really expand, except from the emotional healing process, that are somehow part of the journey to peel off, to take the old skins of cultural and patriarchy and whatever, and did you make some goal experiment, I don't know, magical experiment that expand your way of relating to money?
yeah, I do. For example, I have a over there. You cannot see it. I can show you. But I have a little altar here.
Yes.
So there is this Indian goddess, this elephant goddess, who stands for abundance.
Yes.
And I have a little here, a little bowl. There's money in it, and chocolate, and and jewels, something like that. So then here I have a manifestation oil.
Wow.
So yeah, so I give money how do I say, a part in a valuable part in my life, and it's also there are also my talents and a reward and everything. So it is part of my life, and it's not that I'm money, not that, but I noticed that I had also this money is dirty thing, and I changed my relationship to money. So like that.
Yes, I have so much joy about what you just shared. Like it seems like a celebration, and I'm looking for other way to create rituals also that are also a bit like how it's not how, but this way of relating to the universe that is so lacking in modern culture, like totally in denial with energies, or even with the, let's say, the energy of the nature, of course. But yeah, so yeah, thank you for sharing that. I feel a lot of joy seeing that.
Yeah. Another thing is I have a piece of paper next to my working space, and there's written, I live in financial abundance no matter how much I work, just to take apart this money and working, or abundance and working that is not an equation. I can
Thank
live
you.
in financial abundance or in abundance no matter how much I work. So it's not time for money anymore. And I put it there just to always think of it, and also to find evidence. And I find a lot of evidence for this story, and this story is empowering me.
Yes.
Much more than I need to work. I need to work hard for money.
Yeah. Feels a bit like an addiction.
Yeah.
So somehow you quit working.
I create what?
You quit working.
I quit working. Yes, I'm living my vocation. It's not so. Also, my time is not, for example, separated in during the week and the weekend. Doesn't exist for me. It exists because people around me, my friends and so on, they say, hey, can we meet at the weekend or something? But for me, I always have to think, what day is today?
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for bringing in also the subject of the distinction about the purpose. Like what am I moment to moment, what I want to do, or what I decide, or for example, my blog, and that I realized during the Money Club, is about wanting. Get so scared about what I want in life.
Okay.
It sounds even insane when I'm saying, like, and so I'm still dissolving this construct, doing EHP, doing some experiments, and yes, what is the purpose? Like, still sometimes I do things for no reason, and that freaks me out. I mean,
And what is that? What are you afraid of about the wanting? Is it that it's not allowed to want so much, or can you say more about that?
it's not very clear what is it, but it's like something of being afraid of shining so much that I got revenge from others that see me joyful. That's something that I experimented a lot being a child in school, for example, because I had friends or moments I was, let's say, successful in this model, and people got like fight with me, like other kids went to me and fight with me because they were somehow jealous or just angry at me, or maybe I was arrogant, possible too. And Yeah, and that's the construct. So I'm still making some space. Yes. I feel a lot of, yeah, a lot of energy, and I want to ask you if you have still like 5-10 minutes to maybe to share something spontaneous about that topic. I feel liquid, and and I don't know if there is something else in the space, but I sense maybe.
Mm.
And yes, I have something. I have something.
Yeah, really, I'm thinking about all those people coming to me and mm, who are convinced that it is not possible. It is not possible to live in financial abundance without working hard. So this is the and there are so many possibilities right now. So there's such an abundance of doing what you want, or how do I say, not entering this modern working world of regular job and so there are so many possibilities. For example, I live in a house on the countryside that I wanted in a TV in a TV show. I want this house in the TV show. So yeah, there are so many possibilities. Okay, I needed together with my ex-partner, we needed to apply and we needed to do this this TV show and so on, and we needed a little bit of courage to do that and so on. But in the end, the universe is, there is an abundance of energy and also an abundance of money value, apart from this small survival world that we are trained to live in. And it is really, it needs courage to step out of it and to try things and to make experiments. And yes, of course, it could be hard in the beginning because your convictions are still there, and you will step back and yeah. And I think it's good you're doing these videos, because so in this way people get to know other stories about people's lives who are different, or who found a different path, so that they see, aha. Hello. Now we are.
Yeah, it cuts a little bit. You were saying, so you see, haha. That's what I heard.
I see, haha. Okay.
Like there is another opportunity, or people are doing things differently, or
so that you see that it's possible, something different is possible. Yeah. Because a lot of people think that it's not possible, and then they don't try.
Yeah. The last topic I want to bring into the space is also what you do about vocation, and there is something really deep in me about celebration and rituals. Like it's as if as a child and also as a teenager and a young adult, I missed a lot this yes, this it's cutting again.
Yeah, as a child and as a teenager, I heard, and then it's stopped.
Okay. I missed a lot the yes. Like I heard in one of the sparks from possibility management, why is it cutting so much? Okay, do over. Maybe it's an opportunity. Echo is telling me that I might say that differently.
I didn't hear anything. It was cut again.
Yeah.
So you
Okay.
missed, and then?
Yeah, this so many times the no is bigger than the yes.
Oh,
And what if coming into a space and celebrating beings, like for shifting from doing to being, and being like radiating something so that it attracts like a magnet, or just it's not like a a powder, it's not this kind of thing, but it's more like it's really in my system that people say yes, archetypically to what I am. And and for me, like there is this longing and this desire, this wanting to give more power to rituals and celebration in life about that. Décidément. Maybe it's the end of the call. That's there is a call in between, so I'm using my phone and the data got cut when someone calls me, and already.
okay. Mhm.
And did you hear what I was saying?
Not all of it, and I don't get the question. Is there a question? Because you started with the vocation, and then you went to the yes and the no, and the being and the doing, and so
Yeah, what is your part, your path? Like you're talking about vocation and impossibility management, and what is the archetypal journey towards this shifting from doing to being? Okay, in 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I think this changed also in my work, because at a certain moment I found out for me that at the beginning I thought trainer is my vocation, and then I found out no, trainer is just one form of bringing my vocation into the world. And then what I'm really doing is this archetypal name. It's the evolutionary cross blaster. And then I got aware that I did that my whole life. The first, yeah, I do that not only when I'm giving a training, but also in my private life, when I talk to people, when I listen to them, when I tell them something. I blast crusts. So then for my work with people in regard to vocation, I always tell them, hey, your vocation is already at work, because your vocation is connected to your being. Yeah. And it's no matter if you are a product manager in a company, or if you are a trainer, or if you are a cleaning person or whatever, this is not your vocation. This is a job. This is a form of bringing your vocation into the world that you choose, and you can choose something different, but what you are is always there. So, and this relaxes the people, and it relaxed me too. And when I found a name for it, and became clear that this is what I'm doing the whole time, okay, then I can choose the way of how I want to work, how I want to bring my being into action so that it serves other people or the community or whatever it happens where I am. So I would say this is also something that changed in the last 4 or 5 years. Also in my work with other people when they come to find out their vocation and to find means to live their vocation. It's connected with your being. So it happens there where you are. This comes through you and it happens there, if you charge money for it or not.
Great. Seems like a perfect ending.
Yeah. So look at yourself and find out what happens where you are, what happens with the people, what happens with the spaces, what happens with the animals, what happens with the plants, what happens where you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Patricia.
Yeah. Thank you too for your questions.